This is aisle 42. The conversation you're about to hear is in aisle 42 first, and that it's with a retailer. Well, sort of. I had a chat with my friend and founder Saul Brown of Saul Good Gift Company, a B-corp certified Canadian gift-giving business that's focused on locally sourced, sustainable or handmade artisanal goods that we can be proud to share with our friends, family, coworkers, and clients. Saul talks about the environmental travesty that is the traditional gift basket industry, the importance of personalization in our online shopping experiences, and how their approach to not only supporting local artisans and ethical food makers, but also how they help people like you and me convey deeper appreciation and connection through the gifts we give. I hope you enjoy listening in, and while you're doing that, as long as you're not driving or going top speed on your elliptic machine, bookmark this website right now, saulgood.com. Okay, here's Saul Brown from Saul Good Gift Company. Saul, we've been connected since 2005, I think, maybe even earlier. I can't remember 100% exactly when we met, but I know that it's something to do with yoga and Ian Finn. Anyway, that was a long time ago, but I've been a friend, a client, a customer of yours for many, many years. Everything that you've done at Saul Good Gift Company is just so remarkable. I think you were the first ever B-corp certified business that I had ever heard of. I didn't know that that existed prior to hearing about you and your business and what you got you excited. So I'm excited to get into all of that. But before we do, let's kick it off with, if you were to imagine the perfect grocery store of the future, what would it look like?
The future that I imagine is peaceful. People get along and can live happy, healthy, fulfilled lives for their families, their businesses. Peace.
The peaceful grocery store. That sounds elegant. I was in a grocery store once where they were trying a new, where they were dimming the lights and kind of killing the music, and kind of it was a sensory play that they were doing. It was a really unique experience, and they had described it to me as, that some of their customers need that type of space in order to do their shopping, and it was yeah, I'd never experienced that before. And I can tell you the absence of blaring music and the absence of harsh neon lights it was peaceful. And there weren't people smashing into each other and bumping into you and smashing your kneecaps with their green basket. It was all very civil and beautiful.
Music's very interesting as part of the retail experience. I think in advertising and also in the consumer experience. And just like that case in point that everyone's different. But yeah, it's interesting how music can enhance experience for people or make it negative in some cases if it's too much.
Like Christmas music at cranked to 11. That's a little hard on the system, I got to admit. So, for those that don't know what you do and how you do it, can you give listeners the rundown on what you make and what possessed you to get into a market, into a category dominated by gigantic cellophane wrapped baskets of crap?
Sure. Well, Saul Good Gift Company is a gift basket business operating in Vancouver, British Columbia, and also Toronto, Ontario, where we source local, handmade, artisan goodies, delicious food products, snacks, chocolates, gourmet foods, also home, personal care, and home goods. And we curate these gifts, package them in beautiful, sustainable, eco-friendly packaging, and deliver them to your friends, family, colleagues, coworkers, employees across Canada. So we are a gift basket delivery business that's thought a little bit differently around how gift baskets are put together. I founded the business in 2006. We just finished our 18th Christmas holiday season, and a lot was different in the world 18 years ago than it is today. When it all started, I had this opportunity to sell gift baskets. And the little I knew as a 20-something-year-old, just out of school, young professional, was that if I didn't believe in something, I couldn't sell it. And I had this opportunity to sell gift baskets. And all I could think about was those little jams packaged in a basket made to look big with all this extra packaging and cellophane and big bows. And I just knew I was very passionate about sustainability and the environment and consumption. And I was on this quest to get into green business and sustainable business, but I didn't really know what that meant for me yet. And there wasn't really a lot of that going on yet in the economy. So, yeah, I moved to Vancouver. I was living in Toronto. I moved to Vancouver to start this career in sustainable business, had this opportunity to sell gift baskets, knew I couldn't do it because I thought it was really wasteful and it wasn't something I believed in. But it made me ask this question: why do people give out gift baskets and why do companies give out gifts? And I realized as I learned more about business and was getting my career under my belt and learning more about the business world, that it's all about relationships. That gifting is this tool to appreciate people. That business is all about relationships, and gifts are a way to really appreciate those relationships and to say more than thank you. So, from my perspective, it was like, well, hey, now I understand why people give out gifts, but how would I do this in a way that's values aligned? And I got into the whole buy local movement and how to support local small mom and pop shops and how valuable that is in creating a robust local living economy of diverse local business. And then from an environmental perspective, using eco-friendly packaging materials, socially responsible suppliers. Really, a gift could say more than thank you. It could tell a really good story. And that was the premise that I founded the business in 2006. And I've been working on it full time basically ever since. So, yeah, I guess we met, I think, just before I started the business, and you would have witnessed like the first iteration. And there's been, a fair amount of iteration and growth over the years as we've refined how we go about curating these gifts, fulfilling them, and delivering them with excellence from coast to coast.
I love it. Yeah. Early on, I remember just the fact that I could go to your website and actually click what I wanted and give you a credit card payment over the internet. That was like revolutionary. Like I didn't actually have to call you or email you or fax you. It was very high tech, Saul, very high tech.
Yeah, originally it was just a PayPal link. It was like a PayPal link on a web page. And yeah, at that time, I remember the first holiday season, 2006, talking with people and trying to explain to them how important it is to support local businesses, local small businesses. It took years and years and years and years for this to be commonplace. And like now, obviously, like after the pandemic in 2020, everyone knows how important it is to support small local business. And it's like not even a discussion point anymore. But back in 2006, people didn't understand it. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see the economy change so much and people, consumers' awareness and perception around local business has changed. In almost the 20 years we've been doing this.
And for the times that I've used your service to say thank you to clients, I know when we were running our own conference for a few years, speaker gifts, we were buying, anywhere from half a dozen to a couple dozen gift boxes from you to send to speakers or sponsors as a way of saying thank you. And one of the things I loved most about that process and that experience was the gifts that we were sending through you were helping tell our story. We're helping say to these people that we appreciated and valued that sustainable gift giving, local gift giving, something with some narrative behind it was a representation of what we valued and what we wanted to say. So it kind of created this loop where I was able to continue to grow these relationships by giving something that I knew wasn't just a one-off like you often get and can get just discarded quickly, or it's sitting wasted on someone's desk, or it turns into a pile of junk or collects dust, or just no one really appreciates. But these get consumed, they get enjoyed, they get shared because it's a lot of it is food stuff, and then it's all done in a way that people can get really excited about the support that these local brands, these local producers, these local makers and craftspeople can really bring to the table. So it's a beautiful ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks. I'm still passionate about it all these years later and still find it interesting every day. So it's fun.
So who are your customers? Like what type of people are sending gifts through your service? Is there a very common thread amongst them all, or is it really diverse?
We have a fairly diverse customer base, which is a mix of consumer and B2B. I'd say most of our customers, about 2/3 of our customers are women, and most of them are, I'd say, like 30 to 50 years old. That's kind of our largest demographic. But yeah, they're typically professional, early to mid professional, people who are looking to appreciate their clients, their colleagues, coworkers, family, and friends. And it could be a gift to celebrate a special occasion that they can't do in person, or just to stay connected as tokens of appreciation. It was great to work with you on so and so. And yeah, like you said, I think where the real value is where there's an alignment around the story. This Saul Good gift experience. The story is that it all supports local small businesses. And then with some of our corporate accounts, we'll get into customizing gift programs to really make sure we highlight and tell their specific story that highlights their values or the values of the campaign or project that they're working on. So yeah, you mentioned B-corp and how we're one of the founding B-corps in Canada. We became a B-corp in 2010.
That feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, like we were one of the first B-corps in Canada. I think there's over 7 or 8 thousand B Corps globally now, and three or 400, almost 400 in Canada. So yeah, like the movement's definitely grown a lot. And just like I said, people didn't know why to support local back then, and that's just one part of it as far as being sustainable. But yeah, it's interesting how much has changed. Like we're working right now on customizing a gift program that has all certified B Corp products for one of our clients who's also in the B Corp community, and it's an important part of their story. We've done a bunch of stuff over the last few years working with Indigenous owned businesses, female, women owned businesses, new immigrant owned and operated businesses. So, yeah, I think gifting's really this cool opportunity to tell a neat story. And it's interesting when we really get to know our clients and can get to know what's important to them and then craft the perfect gift to help them appreciate the important people in their business or in their life.
And there's a creativity angle to it too, where someone can receive a gift that has products or items in it that they've never heard about or they've never tried before. And that sense of discovery, that sense of awe can be really special. It can really amplify a relationship or a partnership. And it can really create conversation points for people that are find this stuff interesting or they're more curious. And so it is a remarkable thing. You talk about indigenous communities and women owned businesses, and how are these brands and companies, like, are you going out and sourcing them and knocking on their doors? Are they coming to you? Is it a mix of mix of that? Like, how is it that you're building up this roster of products and items that are going to fit really well and work really well with your gifting community?
It happens in all kinds of ways, and it's both. I'm always on the lookout and keeping my eyes open. I love reading labels, figuring out who made things and where and what the story is. Folks find us too. So, we get inquiries every day from small businesses looking to work with us. And the ones that seem like a good fit, we dive in to learn more and have a roster that's coming into us, which is great at this point. Back in the day, I was like constantly at markets, farmers markets, going on road trips, going to different cities, craft shows, and I'd hit the pavement to get curious and discover who are the best artisans in Calgary and Edmonton, in Toronto and Montreal. now you can find a lot of folks online and on social media. And yeah, and I'd also say some of the best suppliers that we have and that we continue to work with can be referrals as well. So often our best suppliers, well, artisans know each other, and small food businesses, they know each other. So sometimes occasionally, they'll word will spread that Saul Good is a great company to work with. And we'll reach out to folks saying, hey, your business looks like a great fit. And they say, oh, we heard about you from so and so, and we've been meaning to reach out. So whenever there's those types of connections, they tend to be good ones. But yeah, it's like we need to find businesses that are in the right place too. If they're too small and too micro, they might not be ready to work with us. And if they're too big and it's distributed too widely, it might not be special and curated enough. So, the best fit are folks that are either in retail or like are just getting into retail and they're ready to scale up, and they see the value in us getting their product into people's hands and creating this really interesting discovery for people to try their products.
And like a retailer, you're basically buying at wholesale a large pallet or a few pallets or a large shipment of product from a supplier and then redistributing for them. It's like a distribution channel for them. It comes in a prettier package and isn't sitting on a shelf somewhere. But can you list maybe some of the sustainable food or beverage brands that you guys distribute that have been with you for a while? It'd be interesting to hear some of the brands that people might find familiar.
Yeah, for sure. Fraser Valley Gourmet has been with us for a long time with a couple different products. Kitchening and Company, both of them are in Langley. We work with Left Coast Naturals and Hippie Foods folks. They're great in the B-corp community. Cyrene Chocolate, Vancouver Island. Yeah, in Toronto, there's some really great folks, and maybe some folks people don't know that well, but La Rochelle Confections is one of my favorite chocolatiers. Her name's Carolee, and she was actually a referral through our graphic designer many years ago. But either way, Carolee loves chocolate, and it shows. Like, she just sources the best quality chocolate and then makes amazing products with them. So yeah, she's been fantastic and is definitely an up and coming artisan. There's this fellow named David Chow in Toronto who he was an engineer that turned into a chocolatier, and is very creative. Sources local ingredients and makes amazing chocolates. Laura Slack Chocolate, Kinnan Pod. They were based in Calgary for many years. Her name's Jordan, but she's relocated and has a small cafe in Vernon, BC. And she is amazing. She makes the best hot chocolate in Canada, as well as an amazing sponge toffee. That's milk chocolate espresso sponge toffee. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, all kinds of folks.
That's an amazing hit list. I'm surprised by how few I recognize. So it just shows you that by going through the gift boxing world that you've created, there's just so much to discover and learn and to hear about. I really love it. Let's go back to the direct to consumer model and the fact that, you talked about your PayPal link. I think that's how I ordered through you the first time. You emailed me this gigantically long, scary, looks like spam PayPal link. But now, the experience is going to your website. I'm often surprised. Say I want to buy a food gift for somebody, but actually just the other day I sent a baby, like a new baby gift. And it had, really wasn't about food. It was about other things, but things that were curated and made for a special gift for someone that's a new mom. And I find that discovery of, all the different options, the fact that your gift boxes, some of them are very consistent, but some of them are new and changing. And you've got seasonal options that are put together. How long are people spending on your website? I think my site visit time is probably 10 or 15 minutes when I'm there because I'm just poking around and considering and looking at the descriptions. Do people like camp out on your site?
I'm sure like folks that are really curious, I think, are poking around just like you're describing. We do our best to tell those little stories of, who's making the products, where they came from, where they come from, what makes them interesting. Yeah, like with all e-commerce, some folks land on the site and then they bounce and they're out of there. And then other folks who, are more ready to buy or more curious, they're looking at things in more detail before they're, ready to check out. So yeah, it's always a work in progress.
Or people like me, I stick 3 things in my cart and remove one, and then I order.
Yeah, I think that's fairly common. A lot of people like add things to their cart as kind of like a little like short list. Hey, I'm interested. These things look good, and then look through them and pick the one or two that look best.
I love it. So, looking into the future, what are some of the sustainability challenges or things that your team are working towards?
Well, the thing we've most recently looked at and have worked on has been the impact of our packaging. For a long time now, we've been committed to using 100% recycled cardboard in our packaging as a way to keep trees in the forest. But yeah, when the pandemic hit and there was like everyone was getting everything delivered to their house, there were mountains of cardboard boxes, but two, there was also supply chain issues around paper fiber. And like it just became really forefront that's like, hey, if there's anything we can do to minimize the amount of paper that we're using in every gift, we should. So we redesigned our packaging. We were able to eliminate 67% of the paper used in every gift box. And yeah, by using 100% recycled materials, we're saving 478 trees per year, which is some, it's not mountains and mountains of trees, but it's something for our small business. And it feels good to know that we're being more efficient in how we're using those resources. So yeah, that's the latest thing that we've been looking at. But yeah, I think like the next thing really is probably shipping. The impact of shipping, is something that we could look at moving forward.
Maybe a team of bicycle couriers? I'm not sure how far they'd get.
Yeah, we experimented with that many years ago, and yeah, if you surf around YouTube, you can find a really fun video of us delivering this big corporate gift order to a condo in downtown Vancouver from our Strathcona warehouse with a bike courier, like a bike cargo. So yeah, that model didn't quite work for us, like for everyday deliveries, just because we're not all concentrated like right down in the city. But yeah, there's definitely impact of moving products around, and especially coast to coast in Canada. It's a big space. But yeah, shipping out of Toronto and shipping out of Vancouver has certainly helped minimize the distance traveled, both sourcing inbound and outbound for us. And yeah, keep pushing the envelope.
Yeah, you're fighting a good fight. Appreciate it. I love seeing your gift boxes around much more than those giant cellophane behemoths that that used to be kicking around. Where can people learn more about what you're doing and how you're doing it?
Itsallgood.com. That would be our website and the main place to check out. And yeah, we're on social channels too, on Instagram, LinkedIn.
Awesome. Saul Good Gift Company. Did I say it right? I always, is it a co.co?
Oh, that's great, Corwin. It's all good, Gift Co.
There you go. Saul, thanks for doing this. Thanks for everything you're doing for people and the planet. And like you said, you've been going for a while now, 18 years. That's a legacy, my friend.
Well, it was my pleasure. Pleasure to be here and to reconnect and to share. And thanks so much for having me on, Corwin.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Saul and that you feel inspired to level up your next gift delivery. Why say with flowers that will die in days, or a crappy cellophane wrapped basket of uninspired foodstuff that will just end up in the landfill? when you can send an ethically sourced gift box from itsaulgood.com. Okay, that's it from me. I'm Corwin Hebert. My team is Ethical Food Group, and I'll see you in the future.